Here we go. There. And we're set.
So you want me to introduce you, or you're introducing yourself?
Oh, I'll do a quick intro. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Annalise Pierce, and everyone knows me as Anna. And I've been doing essential oils since 2015. I chanced upon them really. So it was really just the universe orchestrating this whole thing. I signed up for a soap making class. And I realized that this fragrance that was coming out of the soaps that we were making was just amazing. And by the way, it was grapefruit. And I said, what is this? And I began to explore the oil more. Then I expanded my research to frankincense and then lavender. And I realized that these oils had a lot more than what we just were using in the class. And I said, the fact that they have all of these powerful healing properties, the natural healing properties. I said, I want to deep dive into that. And making soaps was way too, for example, the oils didn't stay in the soaps too long. So I decided to make potions instead. And that was the start of this whole journey of, going down this essential oil rabbit hole. Now, some of you might know what essential oils are, some of you might not, but I'm going to walk you through, everything so you have a nice broad picture. Then every, alternate week, JC and I will layer that for you. Yeah. And of course, JC and I are doTERRA essential oil advocates. So we will be talking doTERRA because we've used lots of oils. We've used tons of oils from different companies. But, the fact is that doTERRA is coming into India. We are studying, how the doTERRA oil works as against some other oils that are available.
And they're the purest tested essential oils that you can find on the market. From like the seeding, like the time where they're putting seed in the soil until you get the bottle in your hands. They have so many different testing, very strict lab testing. So this is what we believe in it. We know exactly what we put in our body, what we apply on our skin, what we infuse in the air. So yeah, and it's very important. Same when you go for vegetables or fruit, you want what is certified organic, as in a real organic vegetable or fruit, that that you're not putting pesticide or any chemical in your body. And we believe that with flowers, trees, with essential oils, everything, this is also what you want to look for, the purest form that you can find.
Thanks, JC. I'm going to share my screen now. It might just put us in the side. So if you might see JC and me in two small insets there, but the focus right now is the screen. The reason I'm using a PowerPoint is again, because there's a lot of interesting information. You can take snapshots of if you like, feel free. The information is free. So for starters, I'm just trying to find my mouse. I know we've all heard of Hippocrates saying different things, or been known to talk about the gut, but this is something else that he actually said. And how many of us have heard this quote before? And I thought it's perfect, especially if you're talking about girls and self-care, and no matter what age we are, it's really important to be able to take care of ourselves, isn't it? So this is where we want to start, and this is the whole premise of JC and I getting together to educate and to share what we know. So just a little science class for those of you who fell asleep in school or college. Just a quick refresher and a reminder. So we're talking the endocrine system here. And the endocrine system, of course, is controlled by your nervous system. And I'll quickly wake you up after this if you have fallen asleep, but I'm hoping that this is short and painless. Right? So you've got the endocrine system that has many glands. And these are really important. So you've got your pituitary gland, you've got your pineal gland, which is in charge of your sleep hormone. You've got the thyroid. So many of us have heard of our thyroids. You've got the thymus, which is in charge of your immunity. You've got the pancreas, which of course is in charge of your sugar and insulin balance. The adrenals. How many of you have heard adrenal fatigue? I mean, constantly talking about the adrenals these days. Then of course you've got the ovaries, and I should have taken off the testes because this is an all girls presentation. So the hormones that, these endocrine glands send out as messengers to, different organs and organ systems are adrenaline or adrenaline, cortisol, insulin, progesterone, one of our key players today, melatonin, which is your sleep hormone, estrogen, which is the other protagonist, and testosterone to some extent as well. We do have that in our systems too. Now, what I really want us to pay attention to is, so what are we going to do with all of this information and how do the oils fit in, right? So this is what an essential oil is. Now, if you haven't heard of essential oils before, if you have, sorry, if you have, there might still be some information here that you can use. I just want to check, JC, are we recording? Can you see a recording? Thank you. Okay, so an essential oil is a volatile, that's the operative word, it's a volatile aromatic compound, and it's derived from plants. It can be from the bark, the stem, the root, any part of the plant. And it's extracted by different means of, of distillation or cold press. I'm not getting into any of that right now. All we want to know is that these are extremely natural plant-based products. And the interesting thing is that each of these aromatic molecules has different chemical components. So these are the chemical components that work with your body, with the cells in your body to affect that support that you're seeking, the natural support for your health concerns that you're seeking. And the other interesting thing about an essential oil is that the molecule is so small, it's so small that it can make it right through the blood-brain barrier faster than other medication and things like that. And it's so potent that, say, 1 drop of peppermint oil is equivalent to 28 cups of peppermint tea. So that's what we're talking about. We're talking about these individual 1 drop, that is all you need kind of molecule to create a lot of change in the root cause of what you're dealing with. Yeah. So how does the endocrine system and the essential oil work? It seems like a really complicated slide, but it's really simple. If you look down here in the left-hand bottom corner, that's you sniffing an essential oil, maybe even straight from its bottle. And that molecule makes it right through the olfactory nerve, the olfactory system, and it's the limbic brain. Your pituitary, your hypothalamus, all of that is what absorbs this 1 molecule of essential oil. It takes 2 seconds. 2 seconds for it to hit the limbic brain. So you don't have to, worry about, do I have to apply this? Where do I have to apply it? Should I put it on this pulse point? Open your bottle, get a little sniff of it, and it's already starting its work on you. Yeah, and of course the pituitary is your master gland. So if you see on the right-hand side, these are all the other organs that we talked about earlier that you have the potential of supporting. So apart from, from the fact that, these are so potent, these are so small, these are natural, these are safe, we're talking about, why go for a natural solution? Why do that? I mean, medicine is important. Yes, there are certain, medical conditions that you need Western medicine for. But if you are looking at something that can support you from, say, the root cause without any side effects, an essential oil is a great, complementary practice, or a great preventive practice, or a great, what is the other word for it? Support, right? Especially if you want to support your respiratory system, your reproductive system, digestive, all of those things that keep you working in optimal balance. You want to go at whatever's causing that. So if someone comes to us and has spoken to JC and me before for sleep conditions, we don't just slap lavender on them. Though lavender is a great oil for sleep, but your issue with sleep could be something totally different. It could be a lifestyle thing that we might want to fix. It might be a digestive issue. It might be the moon. So based on how or what's causing your sleep condition, we go at the root cause and suggest an oil for you. But this is something that you can also learn. It's not rocket science. It's something you can also learn. It's just that the two of us are a little crazy. We've gone down this rabbit hole and we want you to come down with us. Yeah? So why doTERRA, right? Apart from the vision, apart from the sustainable livelihoods and all of that stuff that they do with heart, they are, as JC said, they are certified, pure, tested grade oils. They go through stringent third-party testing, rounds and rounds and rounds of third-party testing. And they're not just testing for, to say, are there any contaminants? They're also testing to make sure that, all the chemical constituents of a certain oil are as per the best standards for that oil. For example, if lavender is supposed to have 10% of X, 5% of Y, 40% of Z, they will go to the place that has that oil in that composition, that region that produces that quality of lavender. And it's tested for contaminants, for pesticides, for any kind of impurities, and for its optimal composition. So, it beats, any of the synthetic oils that you might find on the market. Having said that, please do not, and I say this again, please do not buy a doTERRA oil if it's available on Amazon or any other e-commerce websites, because you are not guaranteed the quality, because it's only through, wellness advocates like us where you have access to the oils or your own membership.
Plus, it will be a lot more expensive anyway on Amazon than if you buy from us directly.
True, true. And the reason why doTERRA wants us to educate you is because the product is king. And we want you to use it safely. We want you to use the right one for your root cause where you need the support. Yeah. So there are 3 ways, as JC said earlier, there are 3 ways in which you can use an essential oil. You can use it aromatically, as I said. So we have diffusers. I know Joy has her diffuser too. And you can have that in the house. You can keep your windows open if you have a dog in the house. Be careful if you have cats. There are certain oils that are very, very toxic to cats. So again, you can WhatsApp us separately and we'll guide you on that. Now, aromatically is the way to go. Remember, just one whiff. So I know I've made sniffy sticks for friends. People who bought their oils, I just tell them put a little bit on a cotton wool and sniff it in. Put a little dash on your t-shirt, as long as you're not, if you're happy, just get a little oil stain there. But you don't need to constantly make portions. Yeah, you can make it really, really simple for you. Topically, again, you have ready oils that are already diluted, and you can apply them to different points in the body. You can also make your own blends. You can make your own mixes with any kind of base oil. Some oils need a carrier oil. Your carrier oils are, like jojoba, almond, olive, coconut, castor oil for some, cases of inflammation. So those are your carrier oils. So a lot of people come to us and they're confused. They think a carrier oil is an essential oil. They're 2 different things. So the essential oil is your potent plant product. It's the extract. Whereas the carrier oil is the one in which you mix, say 1 drop or 2 drops in a base and dilute it further, so that the molecules again break down even more and get a lot more spread on the skin, which is your largest organ, of course. Yeah. So topically, JC will be covering in, I'm not sure what JC's picked as her topic for the week after, but she will be talking about dilutions for children and mothers in pregnancy. For older women, again, you might need much more dilution because our skins get more sensitive. You can also take some oils internally. Now, doTERRA has a list of internal oils. You want to be also very careful when you take these oils internally. So just because it says internal doesn't mean you can take a great big swig, right? So on guard maybe will be 1 drop, because your body can only absorb a certain amount of oil, say about 4 drops in the day. Thanks, JC. that was an awesome prompt. Yeah, about 4 drops in the day. But oregano, you might only need a toothpick amount of it. You dip your toothpick in oregano and put it into something, or you put it into veggie capsules, depending on how you're using oregano. Right? So there are certain oils you might want to go back onto the website and read the protocol that's recommended, or reach out to any of your wellness advocates, like Shailaja is one. There are many of us on the doTERRA team here tonight studying more about women's health. Just to speak to any of them. Now, these are the 7 that we're going to be looking at. Is it 7 or is it 6? The 6 that we're going to be looking at, 6 parts of our program today. Yeah. I want you to spend just a little time making your own, your own notes. Like, what brought you here today? Was it interest, curiosity? Do you have a health priority that you want to focus on? In which case, note that down. We won't be asking you to share this, but this is just for yourself, so you know what to look out for in our presentation. What are your top health priorities? And I'm going to show you this again. Do you have an issue with immunity? Do you have an issue with stress? Right? Are you dealing with a difficult digestive system? It could be something off this chart as well. Note it down, because we have an oil for that. What are your top health priorities and why? Why is it a priority for you? Does this health concern, take you away from your family? Does this health concern keep you in, in a state of fatigue? Are you unable to be productive or happy? Just spend another, say, 3 minutes on this. Give me a thumbs up when you guys have, done yours. So there are small reaction buttons at the bottom of your screen. Thanks, Pallavi. I haven't gotten a chance to say hi to everyone, but nice to see you here, Deepthi, Akshaya, Siri, Lanula, welcome, Razia. Let me know when you all have done this. A thumbs up, a clap, a heart, anything you can get your fingers on. Top health priority. Are we good? I see chat messages. Okay, so y'all are sending it to me in the chat. Alrighty. Okay, cool. Thank you, guys. I also would love for you to keep an eye on this. Okay, so keep your notepads handy, because what JC and I are sharing with you are certain oils or blends for certain, issues that you might have with your hormones today. So keep a note of, so to match this is an oil that I can reach out to them for. This is something I can pursue. This is something I can inquire about a little more. Just maybe on the sheet of paper alongside your health priorities, remind yourself to pay attention to some of the recommendations. And here we go. So we're going to look first at the estrogen and the progesterone, the two of them playing in their playground. I borrowed heavily from one of our leaders, Chelsea Stevens. She had a beautiful video on this, and I've just kind of taken a few pieces out of that for us. So remember, we're talking about, we're not going near perimenopause yet. We're not going near, menopausal women or postmenopausal women today. I'm laying the foundation for us. We will be doing that in one of our following series. Yeah? So on a good menstrual cycle, this is how estrogen and progesterone play with each other. So leading up to ovulation, estrogen's like the boss of the playground, okay, in a healthy menstrual cycle. And then progesterone takes over after that. It's essential for us to be able to have this balance. But there are times when estrogen, of course, you might have all heard of estrogen dominance. And what you want to be careful about is, if estrogen is high, is it because there's too much estrogen being produced, or is it just the fact that progesterone is very low? So again, you might want to check that out with someone who can assess that, those blood that do that blood work for you. Because just because one is high doesn't mean it's because the other is low. One could be extremely high just because it's being overproduced, or the other low because it's being underproduced. So one in relation to the other is high or low. So the oils that we look at and the protocol that we look at is one to be able to bring back that balance. Right? It's oils that are able to balance out these endocrine productions. So far, so good. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. But now, when you talk about, let me go back a little bit. Estrogen. Okay, so why is estrogen so important? It's because estrogen really is the whole, it's the pro-growth hormone. It's it helps your fertility. It helps in the ovulation. It's really important to prepare the body for this. Progesterone is the one that keeps estrogen in check. But progesterone also has a different job to play. It works and controls or protects the adrenal glands. That's something you must keep in mind. Right? So the progesterone, apart from balancing out the estrogen, it's also in charge of your bone growth. Right? So you want to be able to just keep this in mind, because when you are struggling with high estrogen, and if your progesterone is low, in a little while you'll realize why progesterone could possibly be getting distracted. Yeah, just keep that in mind. And you want to be able to keep estrogen in check. And so this is what happens right now with I know you've heard this before. I know so many of you have heard this before, but I just wanted to reiterate. So what's estrogen? What are phytoestrogens, and what is xenoestrogen? I would have had a game and I would have given prizes out, but I know today we have a tight time, and I owe JC a prize, by the way, from our previous presentation. So phytoestrogens, okay, so estrogen is what your body makes, right? And when we talk again later about menopause and perimenopause, your adrenal glands actually start to step up and produce estrogen that would have otherwise been produced, by your ovaries, right? But that's again for a later date. So estrogen is being produced inside, but phytoestrogens are what you get from foods, certain foods. And depending on your own body's ability to process it, or your own health condition, they can have a positive or negative effect on you. Phytoestrogens, that is. So I know the jury is still out on soy. A lot of people are pro soy, some of them are no soy. So I'm not going to go there, but I just want you to know the difference between phytoestrogens, because some of them can be really, really good. So you can read up on phytoestrogens and the recommendations from Dr. Josh Axe. He's also excellent and a sound resource. I'll send you some links there. Xenoestrogens or xenoestrogens is what we really, really want to watch out for. And these are present everywhere, especially in, my mom's on the call today. And I'm sure, Ma, in your day, you didn't have half of, your friends complaining about some of the things girls today are complaining about. It's because your lives were cleaner. You all didn't have as much toxin in everything that we touch. We're eating out of plastic. We're microwaving in plastics. We're exposing ourselves to, household chemicals, aroma, pendants with synthetic aroma fragrances. All of those have xenoestrogens, which is why a lot of us have an estrogen dominance. And that is creating crazy havoc in our system, from the PCODs, PCOSs, and all of that. And so keep an eye out for that, because that's something we're going to address today with safe oils. And one of them I want to recommend is clary sage. Again, there was a lot of stuff out there saying, oh, but clary sage, it's estrogenic. It isn't. Clary sage does not add estrogen to the body. It's not estrogenic. It's estrogen-like. So it's a phytoestrogen, and it's a safe phytoestrogen. Right? So it just helps balance out low estrogen in your system. Grapefruit is great to help balance out the progesterone. And thyme can also do that. So I have these in my oil box. You got to have grapefruit, thyme, and clary sage. This is a great, and this is an internal recommendation. You can take them in a veggie capsule, but it might taste really, really horrible. If you'd rather just apply it, then apply it. I mean, it doesn't matter. I can't tell you enough. It's going to get into your bloodstream and be in the body and find its way to the right place to do its work. Yeah, so this is a really good protocol to keep in mind. Grapefruit, incidentally, also has anti-cellulite properties. So if you want to make a nice, potion and, a scrub to rub down any kind of cellulite around the tummy, we'll be talking about this also when we talk about menopause and the adrenal tummy. Grapefruit's your go-to for that. Yeah. This is another very interesting thing that you can look at. It's the inside of the foot and the outside of the foot. So the uterus reflexology point is on the inside of the ankle. Yeah, so it's on the inside of the ankle, and there you want to rub clary sage. And on the outside of the ankle, just at the lower valley of the ankle, is where you have your ovary reflexology point. So it's on the same foot, both feet, inside and out. You want to rub your thyme or your grapefruit there. Yeah, this is a really good hack. JC, all okay with the questions? Anything that I need to address?
No, I was only writing that during pregnancy, especially the early stage of pregnancy, to avoid clary sage because it can interact with your hormones. But that was just a note that I wrote in the.
Thank you. Yeah, and reflexology points too in pregnancy. Please, please, please be really careful with aroma massages because that can be, contraindicated. Yeah, so that's something that JC is an expert on. So this is another oil that I know Joy loves this. I love it, and it's a very easy, just a quick roll on. It's pre-mixed. You don't have to worry about it, and it has so many of the beautiful oils that will take care of not just your, the hormone, but it also takes care of your digestion. So it's got fennel, it's got clary sage, it's got, chamomile. I love the fact that it's got geranium. Now, geranium, when I have young girls coming to me, their moms bring them to me with PMS, geranium is like my go-to oil for them. So geranium can balance your hormones no matter what age of, or what stage of your cycle you're at, what stage of your life you're at. So geranium, if you don't want to do anything else, then keep a geranium oil at home. It's a really good one to balance all of the hormones out. Yeah? So if you're looking at, okay, what should I keep in my go-to cupboard, especially if I'm dealing with monthly cramping, a terrible kind of, low moods. It can even help your hot flushes, but peppermint is much better, for something like that because it's more cooling. Yeah, that's for another day. So this is a really good oil.
Andy, so there was a question how to use the geranium in that with the oils that you were mentioning right now.
Yeah. So how to use it with Claricam or how to use it independently of?
Either ways, Annalise, say normally I do not have any condition, but then how should we use it, and how should we actually go about it?
Sure, Pallavi. So what I do is when I get my my geranium out now, because these are doTERRA oils. Please remember, guys, if you're looking at recipes, okay, essential oil, do-it-yourself recipes on the net, the recommendations might be for a lot more than you need for a doTERRA oil. Because of our purity levels, you just need one. One is as good as a feast. And so I might take 1 or 2 drops of geranium max in, say, about 20 ml of carrier oil. And depending on what carrier oil I like, I love jojoba, so I use a lot of jojoba. And I have my 2 drops there, and I shake it up, and I keep that portion ready for me whenever I want. Because again, before my periods, I tend to get a lot of bloating. I add 2 drops of cypress in there too. So I've got a geranium cypress blend that's excellent for, that kind of discomfort in PMS. So 2 drops of each, and apply them. You can apply them twice a day, thrice a day, on the spot where you're feeling the discomfort. Does that help, Pallavi? Yeah.
Absolutely, Anna. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
I actually had geranium. I did not know how to use it. So I mean, this is good. Maybe I'll get started.
You can diffuse it as well. You can diffuse a little bit in your room, again, because remember, it's going through the olfactory system and doing its magic. It can be strong, right? So some people find geranium really heady, but again, if you look at it from the emotional perspective, it's also great for circulation. It's great for people with varicose veins. Oh, don't get us started, but there's so many different things. Remember I told you, right? There are different chemical components in each oil. So while, say, lavender can help you sleep, lavender can also ease pain, can also bring down your blood pressure. So these are magical healing, oils. I like Clary Calm because they've done the thinking for us. And all you need to do is just, plug and play, rub and go. Yeah? Carry it in your bag if you need. Yeah? So it's got Vitex. Vitex is also called chaste berry, CHASTE berry. A really good, another great oil, especially for menopausal women flying off the handle or bouncing off the walls. So that's a really nice one. Now
and Lisa, should we keep more questions for the end
yes,
regarding geranium, or do you want, for the end?
should we? Then we'll address our questions at the end.
Yeah. So yes. So go on with your.
Thank you. So another thing that you want to look at is not just, okay, the external, toxins that are, bringing in the excess estrogens. You're not just looking at estrogen, progesterone, just, to balance them. You also want to get to the root cause. Remember, we talked root cause. And stress, I can't tell you enough. And we're not just talking about the stress that we generally bandy around. Stress can be anything. It can be, nutritional deficiencies. Stress can be the fact that you've been, starving yourself on a diet. Anytime the body feels it's in danger, it can be stress. And of course, the constant, pumping of cortisol because, oh, the driver didn't come, or the maid didn't clean here. All of that is pumping, cortisol into the system. And then there's this overbearing amount of it running through our blood. And remember, I told you that the progesterone's job is to also take care of the adrenals. So when progesterone has a choice, now remember this, guys, when progesterone has a choice to take care of the adrenals or to take care of your, your fertility and your bones, it's going to put your safety first. All the women's stuff can come later for progesterone. Its main aim is to keep your adrenals happy. So when its attention is being turned there, any wonder our progesterone is low. So you really want to address stress factors in your life. And this is one of the most beautiful recommendations we can make. There are so many more. There are so many more oils. Lavender is one that can help with stress. It's a nice simple oil, that you can use. But Balance is the blend. So Balance has other strategically put together oils. And if you go to each of these oils and study them, oh my, it's just amazing. Go onto the doTERRA website. It's an education by itself. It's a library of free information. You don't need anything. There are apps as well. My sister Angelique will tell you there are beautiful apps that will just give you any information you need about an oil and how it helps certain conditions. So Balance is a great recommendation. I also want to look at sleep. Right? So when you're looking at sleeplessness, as I said, there might be so many different reasons why you're not sleeping. So it could be the fact that, you are stressed about something, or it could be in traditional Chinese medicine that I teach, where we're looking also at what time of the night you might wake up and can't get back to sleep, because then it's telling of which organ in the body needs your help. It could be the lungs, it could be the liver. So when it comes to sleep, we do have, an overall restful blend, which is Serenity. And in the US market, which is not available in Malaysia right now, but we source our material from, but Serenity is called Lavender Peace in Malaysia. And we don't have the capsules there yet. but this is highly recommended. But again, there are different sleep oils that you can use, like Petit Green. Then there is Neroli. It's my favorite. Neroli is my favorite. So if you like orange over, you know, the lavender kind of fragrance, Neroli might be the oil for you. It's grounding. It's got that whole, you know, bringing you back down to earth. Your sleeplessness could be because there's a lot of vata going on. So again, you need a grounding oil. So we've looked at estrogen, progesterone, you know, on the seesaw. Then we've looked at how stress and how sleep can also affect this whole balance. Because if you're not sleeping, then again, you've got the whole cortisol, you know, circadian circle or cycle all out of whack. Another thing you must always remember is your sugar. Your sugar balance also directly impacts your hormones. And there is an oil for that. So if you're looking at, okay, so, you know, when you're looking at sugar balance, you're looking at cravings, you know, the whole wanting to eat, your appetite. You're also looking at how sugar is metabolized and how it is processed in the body. So we've got something called Slim and Sassy. And I love it. It's you know, great to be able to boost your metabolism, to deal with those cravings. So I love Slim and Sassy for that. I'm not doing Slim and Sassy for myself right now because I'm doing more of a digestive cleanse and my focus is more on that. But Slim and Sassy has got a lovely blend. You can see it's got ginger, it's got cinnamon, it's got all of that lovely, you know, spicy kind of fragrance and flavor. And it's also got grapefruit, so it's going to be fixing your, you know, your progesterone levels there. Yeah. It's a diuretic, so it's got all that you need to be able to balance out that part of the cycle. Last but not the least, I want us to focus on the digestion. We've had a whole separate class on digestion recently, but I want to reiterate, your digestive system is, again, just like, you know, like everything, your health begins in your gut. So if you've got a good digestive system, you know, the sugar is going to be balanced, your adrenal glands are going to be in place as well. But there's a catch-22 there. You want to work with soothing the adrenal system so that you can digest better. Because if you're constantly worrying about something or stressing, or just like the progesterone, all of the body's attention is on dealing with that stress and not on digesting. Right? So all of these might be one of those areas you might want to go back to your health priority sheet and re-look at what you think you need to start looking at first. What is that highest leverage point that you can work on that will get all of these other pieces to fall into place? Do you need to start working just on your digestion, or is it your sleep that's the most pivotal piece of your puzzle? What's your root that you want to address? Endocrine, I do this in a glass bottle. So remember, when you're taking something internally and you're using it in water. So typically oils do not mix in water, they float on water. So it's recommended that you either have them in, say, like honey, so that it mixes, or you can maybe put them in ghee if you like, or a veggie capsule. But because doTERRA is really pure, and you're using like a 1 drop, you know, at a time in your glass of water, glass, not plastic, not steel, not bronze, not copper. Yeah, but I put them in my bottle, I shake it up, and I keep it on my desk so I can sip through the day. It's great because your liver does a lot of work trying to flush out all the excess estrogen that's in the body. And remember, the estrogen that we carry around is not all homegrown. So you want to help your liver flush out those xenoestrogens and anything that's not been, you know, used in the body. So I know we've got like this whole smorgasbord of great oils to choose from. Last but not the least, because again, when your digestive system's out of whack, when other things are out of whack, your immune system takes a beating. Our, you know, go-to blend is your On Guard. And especially the things the way they are right now, you know, I know On Guard is flying off the shelves. So it's great for your family. It's not just for women. It's great for your family's immune, you know, function. to support and to build a healthier immune function. So this is one of my, I always have a bottle at home. And we were talking about cleaners and toxins in our in our home cleaners. You can actually do on guard in homemade, say, vinegar, and on guard clean your kitchen counters and floors. You can do lemon. You can do lemongrass. You can do citronella. You don't have to be putting all of those chemicals into your body. So just for now, before we go, I'm adding frankincense because, again, this is the most beautiful, grounding, anti-inflammatory blend. I know JC has a drop every day. Yeah, she wakes up in the morning and she puts one on her tongue. Yeah. I love to put some on my, on my wrist, and then I do my yoga and my meditation because I just feel a lot more grounded. So please go back to the list that you made, your health priority list, and spend another 3 minutes on it before we address questions. Just see from what we've talked about today, what's your highest leverage point? Where do you want to start making some changes?
For meditation, for spirituality, for immunity, reducing inflammation in your body. Also for women after giving birth, to keep baby as clear as possible, from any kind of outside threatening, things like viruses, or, it's very good for the baby's immunity too, for women to recover also faster after giving birth. And it was used apparently in ancient time. After giving birth, they didn't have all the accessories we have nowadays, so they were using also to clean the women's like lower part after giving birth too, because it's antibacterial, antifungal. So it's antibacterial, anti-inflammatory. It has a lot of uses. They call it the king of oil for many reasons.
I love it. Again, if you had to choose, which 3 oils you'd pick up, I would definitely have frankincense. I would keep an on guard, and I would keep what's my third go-to? Right now, because of the way things are, I keep breathe. I would always want breathe, but that's again another presentation. But for women's health, claricum, yeah, geranium, cypress. So how do you get these oils, right? Because they're not available in shops. We haven't opened in India yet. We are hopefully going to open end of the year or early next year. So, it's earmarked, rather the place has been picked out. It's in Mumbai. We're going to have this huge, big, place to be able to order our oils from. I just lost electricity. So I think it'll come back in a minute, but you can hear me, right? JC, you're smiling, so I think you can hear me. Thank you. So if you're looking to source these oils and to pick them up, so regardless of whether you're in the UK or whether you're in Canada or in the US, reach out to whoever invited you here, right? We are all doTERRA wellness advocates, and we will be able to get you your own membership. It's best that you get your own membership, because that way you save buttloads of money on the oil. So you get 25% off just being able to buy it on your own membership. And then you also get points for every purchase. And every time you buy something, your points get added up. So at some point, say about 13 months in, you're literally getting 55% off on your oil. Now it beats buying, so when you compare, say, an oil that you would otherwise buy and say, oh my gosh, doTERRA is so expensive, doTERRA lavender is about 2,000 rupees and I'm getting this for 700 rupees someplace else. Same difference. When you've built up your balance, you're getting that oil at 55% off. So, you're getting the quality, you're getting the education that comes with it, you're getting the hand holding that comes with it. So this is something that I would highly recommend. If you want to be a wellness advocate, if you want to deep dive, if you want to teach other people, if you want to build a business, that option is also available to you. So, you can take classes, you can take more complex classes on topics that, call to you. and teach people how to use oils safely. And then you make your money, on the oils that they buy. So it's a beautiful way of being able to make the world a healthier place. And our mission is clear. Our mission is, to literally, as doTERRA says, heal everyone, heal the whole world, one drop at a time. So these are some of our basic kits, intro kits, the enrollment kits that you can get. Speak to the person who's invited you here today. Talk to them and say, hey, I want this, I want that. And they will show you how to go about getting your own membership. Yeah. So now over to our questions.